Some people think that just because someone isn't in close proximity of them, that they don't have a clue of what's going on with them. Now, I touched on this in some of my previous audios in regards to different subjects. Um, the names escape me, but I know it's been on more than 3 occasions where I simply said, just because I'm not a fly on the wall doesn't mean I don't know. You'd be surprised, especially when I travel, distances, you know, how much information I found out about what was going on in my own hometown from the least suspecting person, and then I find out it's the truth. I could be 1,000 miles away, 1,800 miles away, 3,000 miles away, and I could find out whatever I want to find out. Most of the time, this stuff is unsolicited. And the few times that it is solicited is because it's very suspect behavior, and I'm trying to investigate and find a way to get that person away from danger. I don't go around picking and jumping around in other people's business because I got business of my own to deal with. I'm enough to deal with. Okay? So, it just amazes me. I know I have a couple people in my family that actually think that I don't have a clue what's going on. And this all goes back to us assuming just because someone hasn't said anything about your situation doesn't mean they don't know about it. Let me say that again. Just because someone hasn't said anything about your situation doesn't mean they don't know anything about it. Maybe they're praying for you. Maybe they're trying to do some investigating, trying to figure out why, trying to figure out how to approach you. Or maybe they just don't care that much about you. You can see if someone is not presenting themselves in a positive light by the way they deliver the information they're delivering. They claim they're involved in a certain situation, but they don't act like they're part of that situation. You've already been exposed to it. I'm going to give you a case in point, and this is something that's frequent but unfortunate. Not too long ago, I had a friend of mine. I was involved in a group, and I performed certain duties. And there were certain people that would come to the group. And there were a couple people in particular, and they put on this face like everything was happy and wonderful. Every time there was meeting, they had something to say. It was always encouraging. It was always raindrops and lollipops. But I knew in the back of my mind it was further from the truth. Well, a little bit later on, one of those people overdosed. Now, if everything is good in your life, then there will be no need for you to want to take it. You would want to keep living it because life is good. But for some people, life isn't so good. I say this to say this, and I know that seems to be a dark situation, but it's one, unfortunately, that those people have gone through a whole lot of energy just trying to put on a brave face for those around them, and deep down they're really not tackling their problems. And it's a sad situation. And the people around them, when something dire happens, then they're like, I don't understand where it came from. No, you wouldn't understand it where it came from because it was hidden from you. But there had to have been 1 or 2 people in the vicinity that kind of picked it up and said, wait a minute, this person says that they're doing X, Y, Z, but they're not speaking the language. They're not exhibiting the behaviors. It's like the case of a person who pretends that they're going to college, but they don't speak college language, so to speak. Their vocabulary is that of maybe an 8th or a 9th grader. Their writing skills aren't that great. Their mathematical skills aren't that great. But they got a college degree, they got a graduate degree. It's not true. It doesn't add up, people. We have to learn to be more observant. And we also have to ask ourselves, why fake the front? There's a reason why people pretend. I used to be a pretender. Because I wanted the people that were in my life to think that I had all these things going on when in actuality they weren't. I was unraveling on the inside. And for some people, they unravel to the point where they succeed in taking their own lives because they live in a false reality. Instead of spending all that energy and time and emotion just trying to rechannel it and fix what's broken. Get that missing education so they can be at the level that they're pretending to be at. Or get clean instead of pretending to be clean. Or get healthy instead of pretending to be healthy. You know how much energy it takes to live a false reality? Sometimes people don't have any more energy and they just take themselves out. They can't handle it. But we have to ask ourselves, why? Why does this person not like their current situation? 9 times out of 10, they know they could be doing a little bit better, but they don't want to. I have a couple people now back home. Every time I call and talk to them, and I'm not going to mention any names, they try to make it seem like everything's hunky-dory, but I know better. I know better. But the sad part about it is they stay in the same situation and haven't done anything. They know what they're supposed to do. They know what they're supposed to do to try to fix their situation and refuse to do anything about it. All they want to do is just pretend like everything's A-okay. And now they're getting older and it's starting to manifest itself physically. Their circle of influence is getting smaller by way of death or distance. The people who used to be around aren't around anymore. So now they got to go back out into the world and try to peddle this bullshit to a whole new group of people. It's not going to work in some cases. That's a recipe for a lonely life, people. So I guess I know it sounds like I'm kind of going around and around. But the bottom line is that if you are involved in a difficult situation, there is no reason in the world that you can't try to get as much information and help as you can to get out of that situation. To turn around and take the time and create a false reality to ignore the problem is not going to make it go away. And there's always those 1 or 2 people that are witness to your behaviors and how you present themselves and know that it's all phony. Love yourself enough to fix the problem. Learn to love yourself. I'm going to leave that alone and let you guys go for the day. Peace to you all.